Let's ask the Trading Nation team. Craig Johnson is with Piper Jaffray. Boris Schlossberg is with BK Asset Management. Craig, I'm going to start off with you. Historically, the relationship between rising rates and rising stocks is a positive one, isn't it? Craig?
Oh, yes. Historically, it has been a positive relationship. And when you go back and you look all the way back from the 1950s and going forward, we had a rising rates in 1951. You saw rising rates. And back then, you saw equities make 5 times their money. So from our perspective, we don't think that rising rates in here are going to be a problem for equity markets going forward. In fact, as we look at our longer-term charts, you can see on those longer-term charts, this is the first time that we are now at an inflection point. Rates are starting to move higher, and our forecast for 2017 is we're calling for 3 to 3.25 on the 10-year bond yield next year, and we think equities are going to go along with it, and we think equities are also going to be higher. We're looking for 24 on the S&P for next year.
Within that longer-term perspective, Craig, I'm curious, though, have we seen the jump that we've seen recently where we had a 1% increase just from July till today?
Yeah, when you go back and you think about the taper tantrum in the past, that taper tantrum usually went up 100 basis points in a very short period of time. It was disruptive. But back then, you also saw credit spreads begin to blow out. That is not happening today. So it's a different environment today than what we'd seen before. And at this point in time, things look pretty orderly at this juncture.
What's your take on this all, Boris? Because hand in hand with rising rates is a rising U.S. dollar.
Yeah, I think even though things look orderly, the Fed is actually in pretty much a panic mode at this point. They don't want to see this melt up in rates so far, so fast, and this massive move in the dollar as well, because it is going to start to impact profits in Q1 if the story just continues unabated. So I think they're going to do everything in their power this week to basically communicate that they're going to try to pause. There is very little reason for them to try to go into normal monetary policy where they basically start hiking rates every quarter going forward. As a matter of fact, they can do a couple of things implicitly and explicitly. They can say that there's very little inflation, which there is at this point in the spectrum. There's no wage push inflation because wages are still very low, and they can keep the dot spectrum pretty much at the same place, or at the it could even lower the dot curve.
So one and done for now is your view, Boris?
Absolutely. One of the funniest things I heard on Twitter was that Fed is in the business of hiking rates once a year. We may very well be in that situation.
Interesting. That's definitely not the consensus view. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it, Craig and Boris. For more market insights, go to tradingnation.cnbc.com.
Every trader should know that losses are part of the process. So in an effort to reduce your risk and define your max loss, consider using static stop or trailing stop orders. This can help eliminate emotion from your decision making and set you on the path to consistent trading.